How's it going, guys? Thanks for joining me here at Estabrook Park alongside the Milwaukee River in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You know, the greatest thing about this course is that it shares a parking lot with the Estabrook Beer Garden. So, when you're done throwing around, bring your friends over, enjoy a cold one, and hang out for a little while. Without further ado, let's get to the course. Oh right, commentary. Sorry guys, I was getting a little lost in that crunchy groove. If you're looking for strategy on this hole, circle back after the end of this course, hole 20. I'll fly down the tournament position, which is 420 feet, nice, down an old cleared out railroad track. At least for now, let's move on. Check out that left side. I've seen lefties go way up over the top of the trees over there, and overhands will actually work too for the B and C position. Just be considerate if people are teeing off on hole 3, let them clear out before you do. I'm sure everyone's going to want you to take this backhand down the tunnel route, but if it's not called out that way in a tournament, don't be afraid to get creative. I've even seen somebody get to this hole A position with a roller. So don't listen to everybody, don't even take my advice, just do you on this hole. As soon as you put out, the tee box for hole number 3 is just back and to the left. Hole 3 has 4 different pin positions. For pin A and D, I'll usually take a backhand. For pin B and C, I'll go with the forehand. No real tricks to this hole. Assuming you don't get caught up in any of the brush areas, you should be able to fare just fine. As soon as you putt out, there's a small path just to the right of position D to walk down to find hole 4. This hole screams forehand all the way, with a fairway opening up over on the left hand side and all of the pin positions predominantly being on the right. Just make sure that you beat the corner if you're planning on getting all the way back to hole C's pin position, which is in a small recessed bowl area. Makes it kind of a little unique type of look for a putt. Alright, where are all my diamond people at? Always a sad day when you're expecting it to be there and it just never comes back. Leave a comment if you know what I'm talking about. As far as playing this hole goes, just something up the gut. Navigate your way, and by the time you get to the A position, it's just a crapshoot whether or not you're going to get through it. Hole 6, I have the distances and the sign coincide with the long tee pad. This is the only other hole besides hole 1 that has 2 separate tee pads, and it's always more fun just to play from the long one if it's available. Just a backhand up the middle is going to get you to all of these pin positions. To the B and C spot, the tree that we're just going to pass on the right there, that one you might want to go around the right hand side depending on how straight of a thrower you are. Besides that, when you're putting out, just turn back and to the right and you'll find yourself at hole 7. Hole 7 is the shorty of the course, just 165 feet to the short position. This is probably where throwing back and forth in the parking lot with your buddy is going to pay off. Just a nice, controlled, straight shot down the middle to get yourself inside the circle with relative ease. Hole 8 sets up pretty well just for a dump forehand to the A position. B and C, you're going to take a mid-range and throw either straight down the middle or with a touch of anhyzer. Once you putt out, head over to the left side and across the street to get to hole 9. Just be careful, people are coming off the main drag, taking a right-hand turn at a stoplight, and they aren't very observant, so you probably could get hit if you're not cautious. For hole 9, it is possible to take something really overstable, throw it around that tree that we're just passing on the right there, assuming they just cut the grass, getting it to flare skip all the way back in, simply because this hole does have a low ceiling and it is kind of tough to keep something real low and flat all the way down. Hole A's position is over to the left. Don't test it too much because it drops off real quick, so if you're not willing to go down there, just play up to the basket with B and C's position right here. As soon as you putt out, you're going to walk about 250 feet down the path on the right to get to hole 10. Hole 10 used to be such a little dink and dunk hole. Kind of glad they added the C position in the back, especially because it drops off down by the basket, adding a little bit of challenge if the director decides to use it when they have tournaments out here. As soon as you're putting out, walk back towards hole 10's tee and it's over just to the left side. Hole 11, I would consider the most memorable hole on this course. Even with a good throw, you're going to need to maneuver some trees to get down to the basket area. It's one of those where you release a perfect pull and somebody on your card uses a nice word and you just know it's not going to end well. Take a look at the group of trees on the left side here. That's what you're going to want to avoid if you're going to the C position, really the worst place that you're going to get in trouble. Besides that, getting to the C, you're going to have to scramble some way, somehow, regardless, to get down there. To transition to hole 12, you're going to walk up the logs and take a right at the path, walk down the path about 800 feet, and then go into the right hand side. When playing this hole, it is important to consider it sits on top of a ridgeline. If you get 40 or 50 feet right, there is a chance that you're going to lose your disc down the hill. The A position shouldn't pose too much problem, but the B and C position, either throw a forehand, but just watch your disc closely if it gets up on an edge and rolls to the right side to chase it down right away. After putting out, turn left and come back down that walking path, and about 250 feet later, the next tee should be on the other side of the path. Hole 13 plays real nicely into this opening. Being just to your right. So I absolutely love this A position, especially in a tournament setting when they make that berm out of bounds. When the basket is in the position that it's in, it rewards an aggressive play and does add a little bit nerves to the shot, which is great. The B and C position play a very low ceiling, and you're going to want to throw something as low and flat as possible. Don't kick yourself if you don't get all the way to the basket. This is not an easy shot whatsoever. Just play up and get your 3 and move on. 16, just another straight shot. I do find it easiest to get to that B position with a forehand, and the A and C position just a backhand. Once you're putting out, go back into the left, and you'll find 17. Always plays tricks with you with the wind. Just be careful of it being a crosswind or a back left-hand side wind. It's always just going to do some weird things to your disc. The transition to hole 18 is a little bit of an odd one. The tees are right next to 16's baskets. Be careful that people aren't throwing down hole 18 because you kind of have to walk down hole 18 to get to its tee pad. 's A position is going to set up well for a backhand, just trying to crash the trees, assuming that one of them is going to knock it down, hopefully with inside of 20 to 30 feet to leave you with a straddle putt. Take a look down the left side as we're passing here. B and C are down that way. A flex forehand is the ideal shot, but not a lot of people have that, so just kind of play a backhand down that path as far as possible. Get yourself to maybe 50 to 60 feet if you have a good drive for a outside opportunity at a birdie. I will swing down there. And here we are. There are 2 bonus holes. Take a right and walk by the parking lot to find hole 19. Just a sweet, straightforward 200-foot shot to the short and 250 to the long. Plays well just straight down the middle. Not trying to call anyone out, but whoever came up with hole 20 is a little bit devious. That gap is tight. Good luck getting through it. As soon as you do the A position, you usually never see the basket there since it's so short. B and C, just something straight down the middle. C, something a little more stable to hyzer towards the end. These guys in the background, I followed them the whole way through, flipped them a disc, and thanked them for being so patient with me. And if you stay tuned, I will go back to hole 1 very shortly to show you that long tournament position. Okay, this is the hole that you didn't get at the beginning of the round. Just because it's usually not played anymore, you can kind of see some overgrowth. Strategy for this one is you're going to throw it down the middle with a mid-range and not go too far left and right. It's not going to be in this condition. If they do play it for a tournament, they're going to open it up a little bit. As far as strategy goes for the remaining positions on hole 1, I'm thinking that a forehand works best for A, B, and C with a backhand anhyzer to position D. However, when I play with other people, they seem to take the backhand anhyzer to A, B, and C. So whatever works out best for you works for me. This has been a Jump Putt Productions flyover. Be well, and remember to always throw them straight.